For 20 years, I've been raising a daughter who's not related to me by blood. In essence, she is my stepdaughter. Blood relation doesn't matter, she's like my real daughter. That's what I was thinking, but I never expected such a thing to happen. If you're going to be like that, then I have my own thoughts too. This is the story of the unforgettable pseudo family. My name is Diane. I'm 50 years old. I've been married to my husband Tom for 20 years. This is my first marriage, but for Tom, it's his second. Furthermore, Tom had a daughter. Her name is Sally. When I married him, she was only 9 years old. Initially, I didn't know he had a child. As we continued to date, he told me about his past divorce and that he has a daughter in elementary school. However, by the time he told me all this, I was already drawn to him. It seems he also had feelings for me, and after about 6 months since we met, he formally asked me to be his girlfriend. That being said, at first, I couldn't wholeheartedly be happy about this relationship. The man I fell in love with had been divorced with a child. If we were to get married, would I really be happy? Such worries were swirling around in my head. After much consideration, I decided to go out with him. Eventually, I began to see his daughter, Sally, more often, and she started to become attached to me. One day during a meal, Sally muttered, "It would be nice if Diane could become my mom." I was taken aback by her words. As if he had been waiting for his daughter's words, Tom excitedly responded, "Actually, I've been thinking the same thing. Diane, would you like to become a real family with us?" Tom expressed his feelings directly to me. I can make it work with this family. I gratefully accepted their feelings, and thus we officially became a family. Right after we got married, it was really blissful. My daughter, who eats the food I make every day and tells me it's delicious. On holidays, my husband would take me and our daughter out. The more I spent time with them, the deeper I felt our family bond grew. Of course, there were times when we clashed, but that's just part of being a family. I was glad I married my husband. That's what I thought. The attitude of my husband and daughter became cold around the 10th year of our marriage. One evening, when I came home after finishing some errands, the house was pitch dark. At this time, my husband and daughter should have been waiting for me, and we should be sitting around the dinner table. Did something happen to the two of them? Feeling uneasy, I immediately called my husband and daughter. The phone is ringing, but for some reason, neither of them is picking up. What should I do? If something happened to the two of them, should I report it to the police? Ignoring my worries, I heard the front door open. Hearing the voices of my husband and daughter, I quickly headed towards the entrance. There they were, my husband and daughter, laughing happily together. Oh, thank goodness! I was worried because neither of you had contacted me. Ignoring my concerns, my daughter coolly replied, "Oh, you're back. Just glad you're both safe. I'll get dinner started. Let's eat together." "I've already eaten with Dad. No thanks. You can eat alone? Haha." Huh? They ate together? Without telling me? That's never happened before. So that's what happened? A heads up would have been nice. Perhaps my words struck a nerve because my husband suddenly started shouting, "Why do we have to report everything to you? What Sally and I do is none of your business." What? Tom? I'd never seen this side of him before. We'd had minor arguments before, but I'd never seen him lose his temper like that. "Haha, this woman is scared of Dad. Hilarious, haha." My husband was on board with my daughter's ridicule. "She's overstepping her boundaries as a stepmother. She's not even part of our real family." "Haha, that's right. The only one related by blood in this house is Dad. The sudden change in my husband and daughter left me reeling. Why? Why am I being treated this way all of a sudden? Until recently, we were a happy family, living peacefully together. What happened to you two? Did I do something wrong? But their response was beyond unreasonable. Something wrong? It's you. You are the problem itself, isn't it? Haha, right, Dad?
Yeah, that's right. The way she parades around, acting like a good mother, is especially infuriating.
I get it. It's so annoying when she tries to act like a good mother, haha.
Is this for real?
To be insulted so thoroughly by the two people I considered my family. That day, I lost my appetite. After taking a bath, I went straight to bed. But my husband said sleeping in the same room was uncomfortable, and I ended up sleeping on the living room couch. From that day forward, my husband and daughter's attitudes got worse and worse. They got colder and colder by the day. If they were just cold, that would be one thing. But what hurt me the most was seeing them laugh while speaking ill of me. Dad, how long are we keeping her around? Haha.
Well, as long as she's here, we won't have to worry about housework. I guess we can keep her until we get bored, haha.
Ew, seriously? Dad, you're way too kind, haha. As if I were the villain, the two of them disparaged me without end. At first, I didn't understand why I was being treated this way. But after a while, I began to grasp the truth. One evening, I overheard my daughter talking on the phone with someone. Yeah, it's okay. We're about to kick her out. Kick out? Me? Trying not to be noticed by my daughter, I quietly listened in. So, when are you coming back? Dad can't wait. Living together is so much better when my real mom is around. It seems the person on the phone is my husband's ex-wife, which means she's Sally's biological mother. That's when the penny dropped. My husband and daughter must have started secretly meeting with her biological mom, and their affection seems to be leaning towards her. I've been compared to her, and now I feel like they've branded me as the inferior one. That's why they suddenly become so cold towards me. If their biological mother is coming back into the picture, I guess I'll eventually have to leave. Of course, I thought about getting a divorce right away. But realistically, I've been a stay-at-home mom. With all the money going to Sally's college, the little bit that comes my way is peanuts. There's no way I could get a divorce and move out right now. I thought about getting a part-time job, but it would be a hassle if my husband found out. I tried some work-from-home gigs, but let's be real, it wasn't much, just a few $100. There's no way I can save up for moving with that. My husband and daughter's cold behavior hasn't changed. Maybe I've built up a tolerance because it doesn't get to me as much, but living with people who probably can't stand me is just like living in hell. Then one day, Sally spoke to me, which was rare. Hey, I'm getting married. What? Married? Sally was 29. She could get married anytime. Apparently, she's marrying the heir of the company where she works as a receptionist, and he's set to take over his father's business. I didn't know about this, but I was genuinely happy that she told me about her marriage. Oh, that's wonderful! Congratulations! Thanks, haha. The wedding's in a month. Expecting a generous gift from you. Ah, I see. She's after a gift. Though I had mixed emotions, she's my daughter that I've raised for 20 years. It's a big deal for me too. I'll make a decision about the divorce after attending her wedding. As I was thinking, Sally continued. Oh, and don't get it wrong, you are not invited to the wedding. What? But you just said about the gift? Are you dense? I meant to wire it on that day, haha. No way I'd invite you. But I'm inviting my real mother. She's making it big in the beauty salon business. She owns multiple chains nationwide and is like this successful businesswoman. A businesswoman? Yeah, having her at the wedding looks good, and I'm sure she'll give a big gift. Dad is saying he wants to get back with her. Your father? Yes, seriously, what's the point of keeping a housewife? You are dumped, haha. So basically, because his ex-wife, her biological mother, is successful, they want to ditch me, a housewife. But I couldn't believe that I wouldn't even be invited to my daughter's wedding. As I stood there stunned, Sally berated me. Don't you dare show up at my wedding, you fake mother. My husband, watching all this, calmly added with a smug grin.
Hey, why are you surprised? It's obvious, you are like a fake family member. Plus, as Sally said, I want to get back with my ex. She's doing way better, haha.
At that moment, all the pent-up anger and frustration came flooding out. Is that so? That's how it is, huh? For these past 20 years, I've tried my best to build a good family relationship. And for what? If you're gonna play that game, I have my own thoughts too. Alright then, I won't be coming to the wedding. I told my daughter and husband so, then headed to a certain place. Then, a month later, on the day of my daughter's wedding, I did as they told me, not attending the wedding, but instead making preparations to move out. I had already informed my husband and daughter of my plans to leave on that day, and I had a signed divorce agreement from my husband. All that was left was to wait for their move. As I diligently packed my things, my daughter called at the exact moment I anticipated. Hello? Mom, where are you right now? Get to the venue immediately. Right off the bat, my daughter was pleading for my help. The venue? What are you talking about? Weren't you the one who told me not to come? Please, just come. If you don't, the ceremony will have to be canceled. My daughter panicking and sobbing on the other end of the line. Ah yes, this was all part of my plan. Mom, are you listening? They're saying they'll call off the engagement if you don't show up. To my desperate daughter, I replied coolly, Is that so? It's largely thanks to me that your boyfriend decided to marry you in the first place. Huh? What do you mean? At my words, my daughter was in full-blown panic mode. To my confused daughter, Sally, I revealed the truth. You see, I've actually met your fiancé before, or rather, he came to meet me. Apparently, he had been investigating our family. He investigated us? For what? He told you he was the heir to your company, right? Of course he would be cautious about choosing his marriage partner. His father hired a private detective to investigate us. After hearing about the marriage for my daughter, I immediately visited a law firm. Of course it was to proceed with the divorce in my favor. On my way back, I was approached by a man who claimed to be my daughter's fiancé. He told me that his father was investigating our family and had discovered that my daughter and my husband were regularly meeting with my husband's ex-wife. He wondered why my husband and daughter seemed to be having a good time with the ex-wife while I was there. So he decided to meet me and hear my side of the story. Of course, I told him everything. How the ex-wife is now a successful businesswoman, and my husband and daughter are planning to jump ship to her for money and connections. How they're trying to drive me out of the house because I'm in the way. Liar! That really happened? Did you talk badly about me to him? I merely stated the facts. You have been abusing and mistreating me for quite some time. Why would you do such a thing? It's unnecessary. Unnecessary? Isn't it rather your own fault that this is happening? You are the one who did the wrongdoings. When I pushed back, my daughter fell silent, unable to retort. But I'm not a monster. I've raised you as my daughter for 20 years, and I genuinely wanted you to be happy. So I made a suggestion to him. A suggestion? Yes. If my daughter invites me to her wedding, I want him to marry her as planned. Huh? Surprisingly, even after I told him everything, he didn't completely give up on my daughter. He admitted that he truly loved her and still wanted to marry her. However, he said he felt uncomfortable to marry someone who couldn't even appreciate the person who raised her. So I pleaded with him. If Sally, at the very last moment, chose to invite me to her wedding, please accept her. But she squandered even that chance. Far from it, she treated me like a nuisance right until the end, alongside my husband, even calling us a fake family. Mom, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I won't say cruel things anymore.
Hey, Diane, is what you just said true? If so, please help Sally out.
My husband must have heard from our daughter, for he too was crying and pleading over the phone. Naturally, I have no intention of forgiving them. The two of them are the ones who trampled on their last chance. It's far too convenient to ask for forgiveness now. You forgot the kindness of being raised for 20 years and quickly switched allegiance to your successful ex-wife and real mother. I will never forgive you two. Never. I declared so and then hung up the phone. I blocked their numbers one after another, picked up my bags, and headed to the apartment I had already rented. On the way, I didn't forget to submit the divorce papers at the town hall. Even if I were to be invited to my daughter's wedding, I had decided in my heart to divorce my husband. No way I could stay with them after suffering from all the constant verbal abuse from them. Later, I heard from my daughter's fiance that my daughter and husband had even begged for marriage, crying. But once the truth came out, it was too late. The marriage proposal was utterly broken off. As a result, my daughter quit her job and became a recluse, and my husband is now apparently busy caring for her mental health. It must have caused quite a bit of trouble on her fiance's side. I wanted to apologize and I contacted him. To me, he gave kind words.
It's okay. It's just that Sally and her dad turned out to be disappointing. Rather, I'm glad I realized it before I married her. I owe you, ma'am. Thank you.
If Sally could have married such a sincere person, she would have been happy. While I do feel a bit sad thinking about it, I don't regret it. Because I'm free now, I would like to pursue my own happiness and enjoy the rest of my life.